Well, Nicole Kidman,
Hi.
as Chase Meridian, it seems like you're one of the more normal characters in the movie, but maybe we shouldn't be fooled. You have I think, a hidden side as well, if you want to maybe expound on that a little bit in your character.
Yes, my character is a criminal psychologist who happens to specialize in dual personalities. But she herself seems to be obsessed with Batman.
Yeah.
And I sort of, throughout the movie, throw myself at him blatantly, trying to get his attention.
And he's the wrong kind of man. You keep saying this.
Well, he's the mystery man. I mean, he's
your
sort
own
of
flaw?
the dark. No. There's no sort of crossover here into reality.
No. I meant in your character now.
Oh.
That's her own darker side, I guess.
That's her darker side, her obsessions, and that's what she has to come to terms with during the film.
Now, did you miss the fact that you didn't have a chance to put on grease paint and wig?
Yes,
and all
I
of
did.
That?
I would have loved to have been able to put on that Riddler suit and wear that red wig. But, you know, they wanted a guy to do it.
Yeah,
they wanted this guy called Jim Carrey.
I know, whoever he is, right?
I mean, gosh.
Must have seemed like you were in the middle of a sideshow of some sort at times on the set. Or is that characteristic of any film?
I mean, with working with all of these men, it was fun because it's an eclectic mix, and there's sort of, you know, you have all the different types. You have Chris O'Donnell and Tommy Lee and Jim Carrey and Val Kilmer. So you cover the whole spectrum. So the women will find that, you know, if they like the funny guy, you've got Jim.
Yeah.
They want the cute guy, you got Chris. They
And
want the sexy guy, you got Val.
I'd like to pursue this double thing for a second because now we hear the accent in your voice. On screen, we hear no accent at all. So, the Australian actress,
no. Well, hold on.
American.
Americans say that there's no accent. For me,
Oh.
I don't have an accent, and I'm doing an American accent.
Is it, however, a kind of a double-sided life in Australia and America? And what about your contacts with both parts of the globe at this point?
Well, yeah, I mean, I go back to Australia regularly. I live in America. Well, actually, at the moment, we're living in London. So we're all over the place. And I'm one of those people, though, that tends to, when I'm with particular people, I'll start to pick up their accent. So I've been in London, and I start talking like I'm from England.
Very good.
It's very confusing.
First impressions of America, though. How old were you when you first came here?
I was born here. I was born in Hawaii. So that's how I have American citizenship.
Yeah. But when you first came to America as a working actress, for example, was it all kind of
I think that was
whole new world for you?
That was when I'd finished a movie called Dead Calm, and they brought me over to do publicity. It was overwhelming. I mean, I came to Los Angeles and New York, and they were the only two cities I saw. And I spent most of the time in the hotel because I was too scared to go out.
What?
I was. Well, because it's sort of when I was 19 years old, and you're suddenly in a strange city, and I was by myself, and I would watch television, the 62 channels, and a lot, you know, and then I'd go out and do the publicity. But it's a big thing.
But was the American image still pretty predominant growing up in Australia?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of them.
They complain about that a lot.
Americanized. Well, we have American films and American television, and mixed with our own culture. So I think, you know, there is certainly, and now there's been such a big interest in American sports in Australia. American football is huge there.
Were you
basketball.
or did you ever consider yourself a part of that so-called Australian Renaissance in filmmaking, or is that ancient history by now?
Well, I
With
think
Weir
the
and
Australian
Beresford
film industry has been through sort of ups and downs. In the 70s, which is when Beresford and we were working, and Gillian Armstrong were coming to prominence there, that was when you really saw the Australian film industry taking off. We then went through a slump in the 80s, and now in the 90s it seems to be surfacing again with films like Muriel's Wedding and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. So you're starting to see Australian movies on an international ground. You know, people all over the world are seeing movies instead of just the Australians.
Well, we're glad you're here. Of course, tomorrow it'll be there, and then somewhere else.
Somewhere else, yes. I'm going back to London because I'm starting a movie there.
Good to meet you.
Thank
Psychiatrist or psychologist?
Psychologist.
Oh, okay. I thought I'd fool you on that one.
Oh.
Nicole Kidman and I are, of course, talking about Batman Forever. We're here in Atlanta. I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5.